Everything my dog and I need to survive a night in the Canadian wilderness in the winter is on my back, and we're going winter camping. We're headed up and over that hill. That's where the snow line kind of starts. We've got a big hill to climb. We're headed up there to higher elevation. Let's go. This is the first time since late summer that I've had camping gear on my back, and I can definitely feel the weight. It's about 30 pounds. Which is wild to say because it's just the bare essentials. This elevation gain really makes you feel it, but it's good to keep training throughout the entire year. I'm moving at a snail's pace. We gotta get camp set up. Oh, this looks like a nice spot. Nestled in the quiet forest, we have a nice bed of grass to lay on. Starting to get chilly now that we've stopped moving. I'm just finding the flattest part of ground to lay the tent out and clearing off some of this snow so the bottom of the tent gets as least wet as possible. Hi. We're gonna sleep in the forest tonight? So this is my 3-season backpacking tent. I think a hot tent is in my future with the stove and the pipe that comes out the top of the roof. But last year I did a lot of winter camping in this thing, and it is double walled, so I'm just gonna put the fly on. And the double wall actually helps with the condensation. If you just get a single walled tent that doesn't have the mesh, the condensation from inside can't escape as easily, so hopefully it helps with that. Also, for a Canadian winter, it's not that cold today. Since the ground is not fully frozen, I can get the pegs in, but if it was, I would just lay the stake horizontally and bury the snow on top of it and stomp it down on my foot. The first thing I always do is get my sleeping bag out of the compression sack so it has time to expand, because it's only going to keep us warm if it's fully expanded. Just mix up the feathers here. Kiro's jacket is going to be essential because if the sleeping bag ever came off of him, he basically is wearing a sleeping bag. Do you want the jacket? No, you're okay for now. So in a recent fall camping trip, my sleeping pad ripped thanks to Kiro. This is my backup, just cheap Amazon one. It doesn't have as high of an R value, so I do need to invest in a better one. But this is what we're working with for now. With how cold it is, you want an R value of at least 4. I think this one's like a 3, but the sleeping pad is really important to keep you warm because your sleeping bag gets crushed underneath you. You're only getting the insulation from the lofted feathers, so you need a thick R value with insulation underneath you because your sleeping bag is really not warming your back, it's just warming your top half. Unless you're a slide sleeper like me. Oh, I missed being in a tent. I'm so excited to be out here right now. I have to say though, it would be nice to have somebody to camp with, especially in the winter when it's cold and the nights are really long. It gets dark really early. One of the things I've been incorporating into my daily routine is AG1, and you can bring these packs with you when you're camping. They don't have to be refrigerated, so it's a really great way to make sure that you're getting your nutrition. I will only ever share products with you guys that I use myself and would recommend to a friend or family member. So I'm really excited to have AG1 as a partner in sponsoring today's video. AG1 is a comprehensive and convenient daily nutritional supplement. It's hard to get all my nutrition in, especially when I'm out here camping and traveling, eating things like dehydrated food and hot dogs. It combines multiple ingredients in one easy scoop. So you get vitamins and digestive support and so many other great benefits so that you don't have to take a bunch of different multivitamins. It's surprisingly really refreshing. It kind of has like a pineapple undertaste for me, but very faint. So I carry a couple of these with me when I'm traveling, and then I have the larger bag that I refrigerate back at home that I have every single morning before my coffee. If you also want to check it out, I have a link below that gives you a 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 and 5 free travel packs for your first purchase. Also, clicking the link helps out Kiro and I and this channel, so thank you guys. Woo! I'm lightheaded. And this is Kiro's sleeping pad. He usually ends up sleeping just right on my sleeping pad though. So we got kind of sweaty on the way up, and you don't want to sleep in wet clothes, even though my base layers are merino wool and they're supposed to dry pretty quick. I do always bring an extra set of base layers, and that's pretty much the only extra clothes that I bring, and I'll sleep in those. Oh, are you cold? You're freezing! Oh my gosh! Good boy. Good boy. Oh. Alright, I think it's time for some warm tea. I want to try and get this fire going. Alright, we have to find a standing dead tree that we can process for firewood. We are in a forest that burnt down a few years ago. You want a standing dead tree. First of all, you don't want to cut down a live tree, but the live ones have more moisture in them, and the dead ones should be dry. It has been some pretty wet snow recently. This one looks pretty good. This one here, you can tell it's dead because it's got no green on it, and it's pretty much just a stick. My saw's stuck. Hey, leave that. Kiro! Kiro! You took my wood. Now we have to split the wood up, the dry part of it, so we're going to split it open. It's about 0 degrees Celsius, just hovering around freezing. Okay, so it's dinner time for Kiro. Having the fire elevated off the frozen ground with this Wolf and Grizzly little fire pit thing that's just comes in a tiny little case, it has been so key with me. I kind of struggle with lighting fires when it's wet, but I think the key is just ribboning down your wood and splitting it as much as possible, as small as possible, because all the twigs around here are wet, so you have to get to the inside of the log. Oh, she's going now. Seems counterproductive to use a jet boil to boil water when I have a fire going. But I actually don't have a pot that goes on top of a fire, so I'm gonna use some butane. for dinner, I have some dehydrated pasta here. Oh, smells good. Poop bags in every pocket. There's my tea bag. A little chai. Right in the jet boil, I'll put the rest of the pasta. And then we've got to let that sit for a few minutes. Remember to leave no trace. Pack out what you bring in. This fire is keeping me so warm. You have to let it sit for about 10 minutes or so. Before bed, I will take my other Nalgene that's full and boil the entire water and then put the boiled water back in here and keep the water bottle in my sleeping bag, and it works as a heater. So we're gonna keep this handy for later tonight. Oh, that's good. Okay, I've already started eating it, but it looks a bit questionable. It actually tastes really good with some yummy seasonings in there. A little crunchy because it's winter, but if it wasn't so cold, it definitely would have cooked perfectly. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. I feel like I can do better. I definitely want to try out some new recipes. Let me know if that's something that would interest you, if I did a video just on trying out different dehydrated recipes. I feel like that's a good winter activity. Hero is also a fan. Let's see what he rates it. What do you think, bud? I think he gives it a 8 out of 10. I'm distracted by this tree. Look at the holes in this tree. They go all the way up. It must be a woodpecker. That's so fascinating. There you are. Good boy. Not a bad view. We're going on a little night walk. This little mountain overlooks the city of Kelowna, and it's really pretty right now. I just brought my bag with some extra layers and bear spray just in case. That's just a bush, but I thought it was a bear from a distance. Woo! Kiro! Okay, we almost lost the path there, but we're heading back to our camp. It's really cold, so we're gonna get into the tent in our sleeping bag. It's pitch black, so we'll check in with you in the morning. The temperature's dropped. It's about -1, -2. I think that's the coldest it's gonna get tonight. It's honestly a warm winter night. This will be good. It's so pitch black though. Kiro? Good morning. How'd you sleep, puppy? How'd you sleep, puppy? We stayed nice and warm. It was cold though. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh gosh, you got morning breath, buddy. You gotta go pee pee? Okay, we gotta get up. Oh, I shouldn't have left my shoes out there. Oh, okay. I gotta put all my layers on before I get out of here. And we definitely heard some weird noises last night, but that happens every time it gets dark. I am moving apartments. Today is my last day to pack, so I got things to do. I gotta stop playing in the forest. Honestly, there's only a little bit of condensation in the tent. Not too bad at all. I definitely was a little bit cold trying to keep Kiro warm. I think I want to get Kiro his own sleeping bag. I've tried the dog sleeping bags and those don't work. They're just too small. He doesn't stay in them. So I might try a kid sleeping bag. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. It's really overcast today and cloudy, so there was no sunrise, so I just stayed in bed until the light came up. Well, that's nice and cooled down. Oh, my toes are cold. Things things I learned on this camping trip: fire is life. That will keep you warm. You always need more firewood than you think you do, and get to camp earlier so you can cut more wood. Oh, it's a lot lighter. A tent peg. Almost lost you. Carry your own jacket this time. Oh, it's ready. Okay. Alright. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. I didn't even make coffee. I needed to get home. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me on my first winter backpacking trip of the season. I am headed down south right after I move into my new apartment. I am going to be spending Christmas in Arizona and hopefully checking out the desert, which I've never seen before. I know I said that in a couple videos ago, but my trip got delayed because life happens. But I am very excited and I will be truck camping the entire time and bringing you guys along with me. So we'll see you next week. Bye!